Hey guys, I'm super fucking hardcore today. I got my Earl Grey tea, so I'm ready to party. Totally ready to party.
I got hang on here. I should get these closer to the computer, but
Excuse me.
I'll let you guys
What an
direct
intro.
me again.
This is beautiful.
This is so great. I got
Yeah, no, leave the
tea caught in my fucking throat. Wrong thing to drink, apparently. All right, go ahead.
I know probably which one Michelle's going to vote for here in terms of
Oh,
what.
we're going to do another vote?
If you want to.
Yeah, that was fun.
So I got the Red Collar Brewing Doppelbock Dark Lager. And this is in the big bottle, so this is probably the one I want you to pick because it's 650 mils instead of 500 these other cans. We have Quince Lager.
What the hell is that?
I bought this one exactly because it would confuse
Did you
Michelle.
get that at Claire's or something? What is that?
It's a quince. It is an obscure fruit that is somewhere between an apple and a pear. It turns red when you cook it and has a kind of astringent taste.
I don't know. That looks like a Barbie beverage.
Yeah.
Right
And then we got the one that Michelle will pick. Scoutnik.
Oh, that's funny.
That is a punk rock beer.
Yeah, it's pretty punk rock. It's got Morse code on it. It's got Sputnik and dash.
Scoutnik. Nice.
How about that?
Well, I don't know. I'm all right
what
with
am I
any of them
drinking,
except for that quince. That quince is right out.
Okay. No quince.
Girly beer.
Yeah, we don't need no Barbie beer on this fucking podcast. But I don't know. I don't either one of the other ones.
I'm
What do
going
you
to go
think,
because
Michelle?
the big bottle. Because
That's
This
a
is
big,
big
bottle.
bottle.
This is a special
Volume.
occasion.
Yeah, they both looked good. So volume is up.
You actually went through the grocery checkout line with that can? Were you buying tampons with it too? I shouldn't be
we're
sexist.
canceled. We're canceled.
No, really? Is that a sexist thing to say?
I don't know.
I didn't get upset about it.
That's
guess
okay.
if a
We're
girl's-
covering we have a very feminist song on the podcast today, so I think we'll cover it.
God.
it's true.
I don't know.
Several maybe.
All right, well, cheers.
so-
Let's go. We are.
We are. So
No
this
Means
is-
Nothing podcast.
That's right.
And,
We got to get this started.
What we do is we talk about a band that we like.
I have
And
a
I think.
question.
Uh-oh.
I have a question.
Yes, podcast is
Neither
over.
of you, maybe it's the tampon joke, but neither of you asked what I was drinking.
Well, why didn't we ask what Michelle was drinking?
Because of my tampon.
Probably. I got totally thrown off. I was just panicking, thinking of all the comments. What are you drinking, Michelle?
Murphy's Stout.
What?
Oh,
Yeah, I've made
the
a
Guinness
decision.
stand-in.
I am gonna fuck with you every week. I'm not gonna have Guinness.
Oh, wow. That's
you
an
can't
amazing
do that
lateral
to me.
move.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yeah, Murphy's
All
is
right.
good though. It's
No,
nice and creamy.
it is.
I mean, it's
And,
no Guinness, but it's
Guinness is a little smoother than that, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
stopped at Trader Joe's on the way home and they were out, so I just
All right. Well, you both beat
did
me.
a
I
lateral move to the Murphy's Stout.
I had my alcohol already. But anyway, you guys, the audience, we're 3 minutes in and we're still talking about beer. I think or booze.
Oh,
So it's
God.
too much. This, as Matthew has told you, this is the No Means Nothing podcast. We are here to talk about music. So I think we should probably dive in. Before we do that, this is going to be very late on that front because you guys will be listening to this 6 weeks since we're recording it. But happy birthday, Rob, who's not listening to this podcast, but fucking happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Rob.
Daddy, Grandpa Rob, we love you. And thanks for all the fucking music.
68?
Wow,
I think so.
nice.
Is that 68
Nice.
or 67? How old
In
is he?
my young man's imagination, he's always been 68. So
Yeah,
that works.
exactly. He
He's
is the
always
age he was
sort of
always
there.
meant to be.
Exactly. He's finally.
I don't
finally
care
arrived.
how old he is. He's the shit.
He is the shit.
I have his
And-
picture on my my computer screen at work and at home, and it's the same picture. Rob is
Nice.
my desktop screen photo.
And by the time this is released, I will be a year older too, I think.
Hey, look at that.
Hey! Happy birthday.
We'll do a little reggae horn there. Nice. All right. Well, you've endured our shenanigans long enough, listeners. We're going to let you know, without further ado, what the first pairing is. Our first matchup is Would We Be Alive from 1996, a cover of the Resident song of the same name, versus No Fuck fucking from Sex Mad and Sex Mad and Live and Cuddly, 1986. So pretty interesting matchup here. I have to. Well, I say that every time, right? I guess it's my catchphrase. What an interesting matchup. So we're gonna dive into this today. I'm gonna kick us off, and then we'll let Michelle talk, and then Matthew, if he's good, we'll get to chime in. So we'll start off with "Would We Be Alive?"
Help us! Help us! Please help us! Help us! Help us! Please help us! Help us! Help us! Please! Would you make me helpless so that I could be searching for the sight of something that I cannot see? I'd be floating in the ocean, floating in the sea, floating in a drifting wind. I wish that I could be floating in a liquid, nice and thick and warm, floating where there is no pleasure and there is no harm. Life could be so pleasant if we all could be helpless, hopeless creatures just marching to the
Cover of the Residents song. Right now, I know many No Means No fans, I think, are probably fans of the Residents. I've never gotten into them, and it's not because they're not good. It's not because I don't like them. I just they've never clicked. I've never listened to enough of them to click. I had a friend, shout out Jake, if you're out there, who I used to dig on No Means No with, and I think he's listening to this podcast, and he was really into the Residents and tried to get me into them a little bit, but just never clicked. So I'd never listened to this song, the original, before studying for the podcast. Holy fuck. Talk about a original being far weirder than the cover. It's weird as shit. And I'm sure probably almost everyone but me listening to this podcast has heard the original before. Had either of you? You hadn't? No.
I went because of this.
I'm ashamed of myself. I have not.
I can't wait to hear what you guys thought of it. I really liked it, but I mean, I don't know that I'll listen to it on my own again, but it was super fucking interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on this, but it just feels rare for a cover of a song to be more conventional than the original, which this definitely feels that way. It's not that this isn't a conventional take, but feels like more of a conventional take than the original, which is just fucking nuts. So anyway, I remember seeing this on tour. Actually, I remember being super stoked when they came around for this, because hadn't been a big release. I didn't know what they were touring for, and they were selling this at the show, which was just fucking great. To not only get to go see No Means No live, but there's a new fucking EP to listen to that I'd never heard before. And they played this song and it blew me away. I fucking loved it. Didn't know it was a Residents cover at that point. And I really like this. So I think this whole EP was recorded with the two drummers. It was right around that time. Yep. And Ken is credited on it. And you can really hear it. I mean, the drums on this are fucking thundering. It sounds like there's two of them. So, and I like the cover better than the original, which is just my opinion on it. And there are two versions of this song, right? There's this version on the Would We Be Alive EP, and then on In the Fish Tank. And they're slightly different, but not hugely different. I really love the way the drums and the guitar and the bass work together on this. They are pushing forward in this just fucking thunderous marching riff that is so good. There's one critic I came across called this song a tooth-rattling march into self-destruction, and that I thought that was a pretty good summation of this song. A great way of describing it. The double drumming, it really makes it even more thunderous than it otherwise might be, and it really makes me feel like one of the little lemmings that I think they talk about in the song, sort of obliquely, marching with his brethren off the fucking cliff into the ocean. It really has that feeling of just on the march to oblivion. Like I said, the double drumming is just aces. I think it plays really well off the primary bass riff in this. It's not very acrobatic. Like Rob's not being super acrobatic in this, which is fine. I think it's the bass and the drums together are in service. And Tom actually does some great guitar work in this. I really like his riffs in this one a lot. And that ending I fucking love. I've always loved it since first picking up this EP, where it morphs from the help us to helpless to hopeless, where it
Oh
sort of
yeah,
has that
you like
gradual
those
shift.
words when they change it up
Well,
like
and
that.
Rob is just so fucking good in his performance of how he
Yeah.
growls it into morphing between those three
He's pissed.
it's just fucking, he's pissed, and it's genius.
Yeah.
And lyrically, this isn't their song, right? It's not, they didn't write the lyrics, but it's right in the No Means No fucking wheelhouse. I mean, this
Absolutely.
talks the absurdity of existence, check. The importance of pain and confusion as integral ingredients in authentic life, check. All of the shit that you might expect in a No Means No song, it's right there. The kind of wish to return to these very origins of life, back to our single-celled origins. It's totally in the No Means No wheelhouse. And I love the ending. I love how Rob escalates up the cries of "Help us." You know, Rob does this a lot, where he'll build his vocal performance starting with something, you know, sort of measured, and just getting wilder and wilder and growlier, and it's really it's really well on display here. I think
Yeah.
I really love his vocal performance in the song. I think he really knocks it out of the park.
Yep.
All right, so that's me. Michelle, what do you think of this bad boy?
Oh, I don't have such an eloquent way of saying everything you just said. Because you're you and I'm me, but I really dig this song, and I did not know it was a Resonance tune at all. And I still have not heard the original version, which is shameful, and I need to hear it, especially
Yeah, you
if
should
it's
go
weird.
listen to it.
Yeah, I
It's
should,
very
because
weird.
I like weird shit. I
Yeah.
am very attracted to weird shit.
Well, then you like the song, I think.
Hence the bald wang. But I do know somebody who does some artwork for them, and I'm pretty proud of it and how it looks for them, because I know they're really particular about it. But yeah, Steven Serio is his name.
That's
and
awesome.
He does some of their artwork quite a bit. So I do dig this tune and how raunchy sounding it is, and while it's not as complex as some of my favorite No Means No stuff, I appreciate it for its simplicity and directness. And I don't know what they need help with, but I'd love to help them. And I do think Rob sounds amazing on this. Like, he's just planting it. And God, I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the ISO booth watching him sing, because I just crap my own pants if I saw it. I would love it.
Yeah,
He
no
just
shit.
gets in the zone. And like you were saying, how he can just get more agitated or more into it, and you just put yourself in a trance. But yeah, so that's what I had.
Nice. Matthew, how about you?
Well, this is the song that I think of when I think of the two drummers period for No Means No. So yeah, it's definitely, it was a little bit of a surprising one when it came out in the. I guess they were thinking about reproduction. I mean, the song is, I love that lyric of, floating in a liquid nice and thick and warm. I mean, that sounds like something Rob wrote, but he didn't. That's like lifted directly from the song. I mean, but it has John holding up his larva on the front.
Yeah, there's a bunch of sperm all over it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and an oocyte.
Not the baby, not the child on the album cover. Sorry, that sounded really wrong. Go ahead.
Wow, that larva is now around about 24, 25 years old.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, actually, the bass line when it kicks in, it's
beauty.
A march is actually very accurate for way this song is. The way that it's very martial in the progression to the womb, I guess, or back to the womb.
Yeah,
I was thinking maybe I shouldn't have listened to the Residence version before thinking about it for this podcast. So, you listened to Jordan and Michelle, you didn't. I'm kind of wondering whether I should have, because it actually shifted my opinion of the song a little bit, because they're extremely faithful to the original, despite the fact that it's extremely weird. I mean,
true.
They changed the instrumentation and they shifted the lyrics around a little bit, but more or less, it's extremely faithful.
It is. The arrangement is kind of 1-to-1 almost.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it's very No Means No in terms of the. It almost reminds me of Metronome in some ways, in terms of like the comfort of oblivion, or the comfort of just sort of nothingness, like order. There's a sacrifice to go back to the womb, and that is hopeless, helpless, help us. but it's
that's why they need to
de-evolution.
help.
In order to be sort of warm and safe and everything, like you also have to be like non-sentient. You have to lose your consciousness. Anyway, I thought that was
They're
kind of
such a
interesting.
heady band, aren't they? I mean, they're just they're so
earnest
fucking heady.
nerds. Earnest nerds.
I'm super surprised actually because there was a member on the No Means No forum, No Means Whatever forum, and Karen from formerly of Salt Lake City. Hi, if you're listening. She's a huge Residents fan, and she tried to get me going on them, and just never took.
Yeah, me neither.
Somehow. But maybe it actually sort of stimulates my interest in them a little bit, although they're maybe a little more theatrical than I tend to go
like
for.
art-based thing.
The people that I know that really like him have always kind of said that you really develop your love from them having seen them live, right? Like
I'm
you
sure.
see their shows, and that's
that.
where you come to really appreciate them.
Mm-hmm.
That the music is part of their act, right? It's not the whole of it.
Like Guar
people say
or something.
Some people would say that about No Means No. Not that I think you can totally appreciate just the recordings, but when or if you've gotten to see them live, then you understand the real majesty of what they have on offer.
Yeah.
But anyway, musically, it's pretty straightforward. But I like it. I like the I don't know. It makes me want to walk in a straight line or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, man. It's got that march, that march feel to it.
Steady now. Steady.
Right.
That's about all I got.
All right. Well, let's talk
Keep
about.
it.
I'll kick in about fucking for all you Buck Rogers fans.
God. Oh, shit. I haven't heard that in years.
Yeah, right. Takes me back to my childhood. All right, so
Okay, this is sort of the Frank Sinatra ballad of the evening. We like to land on a soft note so everyone goes out feeling warm and cozy and in love with the person next to him. And I want you to think about that when you listen to this song. I want to think about the person that you dedicated your life to and sort of like to lick all over. Just think about the manifestations and the confluations and the obstructions and the fructifications of the relationship that...
Excuse me, Rob? To lick all over? Here it goes again. As soon as you start talking about sex, he starts talking about Nietzsche. Just one more thing before we get going on this song. Remember, guys, like, always wear, if you can, and women out there too, a safety pin on the bottom of your t-shirt, because not only is it cool in punk rock, but it's also very handy sometimes. Okay, this song is called... One, two, a buckle my shoe. All I hear are consequence, all I hear are push and grunts, all I see are consequence, push and grunts. I don't like it. All I see is consequence, all I hear is push and grunts, all I see is consequence, push and grunts. I don't like it. All I see is consequence, all I hear are push and grunts, all I see is consequence, push and grunts. Thanks.
I mean, come on. Every No Means No song, every No Means No fan knows and loves this song in one way or the other. I mean, is it going to go all the way? No, probably not. But, you know, you're in a crowd of other punks and you start off with a jaunty little a 1, a 2, a buckle my shoe. And you'll know the No Means No fans because they're going to start going, you know, they're going to start yelling at you. So it's in all of our subconsciousness. And I know Matthew has some stuff to say about the different versions, maybe, but there are the 3 versions of it. The 2, although from what I could tell, the 2, when I looked at the wiki to look at the track listings for Sex Mad and then You Kill Me, it only appears on Sex Mad. It's not on the EP. It's not on the LP of You Kill Me. So I guess it was only on the. You have more knowledge, so I
have dug that up, so you can. I can.
So I'll put it. Let's put a pin in that. We'll put a pin in that.
I can jump in now, or I could say it.
No, I'll let you wax. I'll let you save it.
Save it because this is juicy shit.
Yeah. So in terms of those 3 versions, I prefer the Live and Cuddly because I feel like that's what the song really is meant for, or really works well. It's a great live interstitial, and as the end of their set, it's just fucking great. And to hear them goofing through it is great, and I just love that. So I'm very fond of this song, just because of how fucking funny it is, and it's also a really great encapsulation of what was really strong. I mean, I think it's a thread through all of their work, but really early on, there was a lot of that really wrestling with, you know, the kind of deeply repressed sexual id and wrestling with one's sexual urges and how that can fuck you up, all that kind of stuff was deeply enmeshed in a lot of early No Means No. And this is just a pure screed straight from that id, right? It's just straight from that straight from the pubes, basically. So it's fucking great. It's fucking great.
It pushes and it grunts.
Yeah, it pushes. Yeah, lots of pushes, lots of grunts, and all the rest. I don't know that I have a lot else to say about this song. I mean, I've already said more about it than the song is long, so that feels a little unnecessary. Michelle, what about you? What do you think of this song?
Oh, I gotta tell you a secret now. It's embarrassing, but I don't give a shit. I'm gonna tell you an slightly embarrassing secret. My thing with the lyrics, right? Still to this day, and for many years, I never took the time to look up exactly what they were saying. So when they're saying cocks and cunts, I always thought they were shut up. I always thought they were singing God's guts.
I love that so much better.
God's guts. Well, say it. Cocks, cunts, God's guts.
I thought it was about cops, actually.
Yeah, cops and
nuts.
Grunts.
Cops and nuts.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything. I got the push and grunts thing. I think I heard that, but I always thought it was God's guts.
I love that so much.
They would write a song about God's guts.
I think we found our episode title.
Oh, so here we go. Yeah. And I love the live and cuddly version. Excuse me, Rob?
Yeah.
To lick all over.
As soon as he starts talking about sex, he starts talking about Nietzsche. Great.
I have to know the origins of this one. That's the last thing I wrote about the song, but I really want to know who got high and just decided to grab a pen and a piece of paper. It's mental. I don't know who did it, but I like it.
Who was sitting there thinking about God's guts, for fuck's sake?
Hey.
All right.
All right. He's got some tough guts, I guess. Maybe I don't know. I God's guts.
All right, Matthew. I have a feeling you've got some knowledge to drop on us. So,
it always reminded me as a good Ukrainian Canadian lad. Reminded me of my doo-doo's good friend, Mr. Fgnuikc. Just to say, no Fcgniuk. I mean, Mr. Fgnuikc totally taught me about growing beans, and what a sweet, lovely man. So, I'm automatically on the defensive about no Fgnuikc. I mean,
this is beautiful.
Anyway, Mr. Fgnuikc, rest in peace.
Yes, please. Wow, cool.
So that this album, this song, it's interesting. I'd never really thought about the fact that there are two versions, one a cappella and one pretty much sardcore straight ahead. But I got to know it on the tape, in fact, of Sex Med, You Kill Me, and I never really, as with so many other No Means No releases, I never really sort of went back, not being a vinyl guy at the time, which songs were on what specifically. And so I went back and I looked at the track listings, and the hardcore version didn't appear. And so I was like, oh, where was it? And it turns out that the a cappella version was released on the US release, and the hardcore version was released on is that right? Yeah. The full band version was on the Canadian and UK release.
How about that?
And there were slightly different songs. I think,
the order was different, right?
The order was different, and Love Thang was on the US version, whereas Hunt the She Beast was on the UK Canadian version. Self Pity was in a different spot.
Self Pity.
So I think I'm not a huge fan of Hunt the She Beast, but I really like how one of the versions of No Fucking goes right into it's one of the best segues on any album. Yeah. But because of sort of how I don't know, it almost reminded me of like a Greek chorus or something like that. It's the theme of the album, and it sort of comes back. It's like, it's all about body horror and how gross and sordid sex is.
And God's guts.
So when this matchup came up, I was kind of wondering whether we would evaluate them together or separately, but we are putting them together, I think. But for such a incoherent, short song, it is remarkable how often 1 2 buckle my shoe comes into my head.
Exactly.
in Andy's voice whenever I'm sort
Exactly.
of counting to do anything. So yeah, anyway, that was the story. It is
That's great.
a gross and sticky little song. And interestingly, it was also released on Short Music for Short People, which is a CD released on Fat Records, and it's all sort of songs of 30 seconds and under. And I believe
Whoa,
that's the
I've
only
never heard of this.
No Means No song that was released on Fat
How about
Records.
that?
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
It'd be a strange introduction to the band.
And then, of
Very
course,
appropriate.
I think just the version. I mean, maybe not the song. It's all the preamble. It's a very, very good example of what it was like to see a No Means No show.
on Live and Cuddly, yeah.
On the
Right.
Live and Cuddly version, the stage banter of that particular
So
song.
good.
Of course, it has the thing about the safety pin
Yep.
in it
You're
right
right.
at the end. It's cool in punk rock. It's very handy sometimes.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. No, yeah.
I don't think so,
So
Rob.
interesting little song. I think the a cappella version might have led to the Dead Kennedys cover on the Virus 100.
Which is so great. I don't.
Yeah.
Do we
Oh.
put that on our list? Is that on our rotation? That's a pretty fucking great song.
I don't think it is. I don't think I put it in there.
So
All right.
oh my
so
God.
we might never reference it again, but shout out to Forward to Death. That was a
Anyway,
great fucking cover.
Influential
was.
little song for what it is. Let's
That's
just say that.
exactly right. That's exactly right. All right. Well, nice. We gotta vote between these two very interesting, entirely different songs. And fuck me if I don't have to vote first. So in one way, this should be really easy. If I'm looking at these two songs purely as pieces of music, Would We Be Alive is superior in many ways. On the other hand, that's not their song. And on the other hand, no fucking kicking. It's really iconic. Like I kind of want to vote it through because of what it represents about No Means No to me, and what it makes me think of about the band, and what it says of their humor and their willingness to put something like this on an album. So I don't know whether to vote for that part of it or whether I should just be thinking about the music. It's fucking hard. So
Whoa.
I'm gonna
Are
put
you
through,
gonna vote or are you gonna go
Just
leave
keep talking.
or something? I don't know.
I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna vote for no fucking. Yeah, I'm voting
Ding,
for
ding, ding.
no fucking. All right, Michelle.
Circle gets a square.
What about you?
I'm voting for that song too. Hell yeah, I
Woo!
am.
Shit, it's going through.
There's
Holy
no
shit.
fucking about right now.
Nice. How about you,
Twice.
Matthew? Get your vote on the record.
It's a tough one too, yeah, because of what it represents. But musically, I think I got to give it to Would We Be Alive?
Good, I'm glad.
Because of the two drummer thing,
That
and
makes me
because
happy.
of again sort of what it represented to be like. Okay, this is No Means No coming together again, like a strong, strong braid of rope.
Fair.
It's such a coherent, tight song, and having now heard what a faithful cover it actually is, it's they put their own stamp on it, but they didn't change the fundamental nature of it, and that is a testament to integrity of them as a band as well as the musicianship. So
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. And I agree with all that. And that's why it was kind of a coin toss for me. But I didn't want to shove Mr. No fucking out the door because I felt like it. Yeah. Anyway, there we go. It's going
He's
through.
got a say at the table.
Better
no
or
fucking
worse.
has a say at the table.
Yeah, for now. Don't get comfortable.
Okay.
Is what I'd say.
So yes, Fcgniuk.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Fcgniuk.
Oh my God.
A fine
Did you
tribute,
say
a fine
he taught
tribute.
you how to plant beans? Is that what you said?
Yes, that is what Mr. Fcgniuk did.
Oh my God.
That
that's
person who
adorable.
actually existed.
That is really adorable. I'm going to think about that every time I hear this song now.
Mr.
I'm gonna-
Fcgniuk and his God guts.
And his beans.
Yeah. Mr.
Well,
Fcgniuk,
if-
yeah, he loved his broad beans. He put them in the borscht all the time.
Nice. Nice.
How about that? And maybe they're now in God's guts because God
They're
ate
in
the
God-
beans.
Hey, look at that.
Mr.
circle.
Fcgniuk did it. Yes.
Well, Mr. Fcgniuk is certainly with God these days.
That's right. He's in God's guts.
Oh
All right. Well, here we go. Round 2 then. Might as well get this one over with or get it started. Let's get started now. No, that's not the song. The first one in this matchup is, drum roll, One Fine Day. Yeah. One Fine Day from Dance of the Headless Bourgeoisie, 1998. The original closer on that LP, but on later releases, there were those other tracks that came after it. Versus our first song, I think, off of Mama, My Roommate is Turning into a Monster, 1982. So One Fine Day versus My Roommate is Turning into a Monster.
Wow.
And the first person lucky enough to talk about these songs, talk about One Fine Day to start with, is Michelle.
Take it away. This is one of their most musically straightforward songs, I think, and it doesn't grab me that much, but I appreciate the crunch fuzz of the guitar and the sludge sound of the whole song in general. The solo is great sounding too. It matches up really well with the music. And another song that seems like Rob, he just wants to disappear again. I'm so intrigued by this guy and his song ideas and music and lyrics that he comes up with that I actually find the time to pay attention to or can actually hear. He's just an interesting guy to me if he's the one writing the lyrics. He has a lot of songs where he just wants to go away. The comments under this, I listened to it on YouTube, and the comments under it, there's some real big fans of this song that really think it's just a monumental piece of music, and they absolutely love it. And some of them even remarked that it's one of their favorite songs. Me personally, no, it's not one of my favorite songs, but I appreciate it for what it is, and I love that people do love it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. All right, Matthew, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty... I listened to it, and it's not one that stood out to me all that much. The music to me is pretty straight ahead. It's a rock ballad, maybe a little stoner rock. It might remind me a little bit of Queens of the Stone Age or similar, for parts of it. But then, I kind of went back to read the lyrics to see whether they elaborate the music. And again, the lyrics are actually pretty straightforward as well. Not a whole lot of allusions to anything. It's pretty clear, I think, what the message is. I almost think it's almost a prequel, or the song "Heaven is a Dust Beneath My Shoes" from Ausfart might be sort of a similar type of song, or this is a prequel to that song.
He's starting to get into the storytelling type of songs there, where he's like a father with a little kid on his knee, telling him about stuff.
But it's a song about increasing confidence to sort of move and leave things behind. Certainly coincides with Rob getting older and getting interested in Buddhism, I would think.
Right.
Just a guess there. Musically, though, it's actually I have some fondness because you can hear Tom in it. I think to me, some of the guitar phrasing is a lot Showbiz Giantsy. It kind of lets the Tom out a little bit, especially.
Yeah, it does showcase him quite well on that.
Yeah, in the bridge, the little sort of higher part. Seems like something Tom would write. So that's it's nice to hear Tom. Hi, Tom. I know he's not listening to this.
He isn't. Oh, I wish he would. We could phone in. He could phone in and be like, "That's not true."
It would either annoy him or not annoy him, or probably annoy him a bit. Then he would tell us about how much it didn't annoy him, but it would really annoy him.
Oh, just go bowling, whatever. I don't know why I just said that, but he seems like he would be into bowling. Anyways,
Well,
go on.
it's a pleasant song.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? No. All right. I'm going to dive in. Yeah. So I mean, you guys have talked about a lot. What I would want to talk about. This is a fine rock anthem, right? There in my life of fandom with this band, there have been big periods where this is a skip for me, where I'm just kind of like, nah, I'm gonna skip past it. Then there's other times where I listen to it and I wonder how the fuck I ever could have skipped over it and deeply, deeply appreciate it. And then later come back to it and go like, yeah, no, it's a skip for me. Right.
Yeah, sometimes you want yogurt and then sometimes you're like, I don't want any yogurt. And then some days you're like, I want some yogurt.
Exactly. And interestingly, I was talking to my son right before I came up here and I knew this about him, but this is one of his favorites. He is one of those who this song really, really does it for him. He loves this song.
Well, that's good.
And I think that sort of anthemic simplicity is where the power of it is. It is so straight ahead. It's also one of the songs where Rob's bass is pretty much undistinguishable from the fuzz of the guitar, right? It's just this fuzzy grinding sound that's coming out of the guitar and the bass together. And I really like that. It's like this steady sort of heartbeat underneath it. And Tom's, you mentioned Tom's guitar playing. I really like it in this song too. He's got that nice guitar solo in the middle that echoes the kind of vocal line. It's really nice before the bridge comes in. And I really like how different of a bass sound this is for Rob, especially on this album. And Rob's singing this whole song. There's no Shprekas Timma here or whatever, speak singing, and very little flourishy theatrics. This is really sort of earnest and straight ahead. It's almost as straight ahead of a rock anthem or song. I mean, not anthem, but ballad. That's a better word that they've made.
It's a simple man with his boots on.
Exactly. But the performance is top notch, it's like All Lies from the last episode. This was meant to be the end of the album. And to me, kind of as you were talking about, Matthew, it's kind of ruined by the fact that Gimme the Push is right before this, which that song fucking shreds my ass.
I love that song.
And I'm so exhausted by the end of it that by this one, I'm just kind of sitting in my chair going like, all right, let it wash over me. Which is good, right? Like, I think it really works well as an ending song. I think it's a really good closer for the album. And it's a coda, especially coming off of Give Me the Push. And lyrically, I actually feel like this is a really good companion to another song on this album, The World Wasn't Built in a Day. I think like both of them in different ways explore this notion of becoming completely alone from others, and how that is both a complete freedom and I think The World Wasn't Built in a Day is a little bit more nuanced in how it does really talk about the freedom of that, but also kind of talks about the terror of it. Whereas this one really feels like it's more about the freedom of removing oneself from connections, which doesn't mean necessarily divorcing oneself from those around you, but just the freedom of having that self-reliance.
Compartmentalizing.
Maybe a necessity for progress.
Exactly.
To divorce yourself from things.
You could look at this as like, I mean, you could read the song many ways, right? If one wants to read it as someone escaping a toxic family, it's a fucking anthem of joy of like how I'm finally fucking leaving you all behind. Even if I love you, I'm out. But it doesn't have to be that. It could be more universal about how we all need to find that. We all need to find that sort of self-reliance, get up off the porch and just walk down the fucking road. It's like a nice pure celebration of sort of liberation and self-reliance. And I really appreciate it for that. All right. Well, then let's move into our next one, which is our first one off of Mama, which is pretty great.
Which is a totally opposite of what the hell we were just
different. My roommate is turning into a monster. All right, Michelle, hit us up.
His eyes are closed, but he never sleeps. He's breathing rough, he's breathing deep. He's got something on his mind. He can't seem to unwind. He said, don't you tell nobody else. Don't you tell nobody else. Don't you tell nobody else.
is the birth of my band. And Rob's voice, this is what he's often referred to it as his boyhood soprano. Where did I see that he called it his boyhood soprano? Was it in the liner notes of one of the things? Or,
I don't know, but that's perfect.
I read it somewhere. He used to pick on himself because his voice was so much higher pitched and young at the time. But I do love it, and you can tell, like listening to that now and hear what he sounds like later. It's just a. And I don't know if this was the vocal nodules or anything. It's just a man who's getting older, you know. I think the song is creepy, and I love the don't you fuck nobody else. Does he say what's this? Does he say it? I don't have tits?
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Oh my God. What is going on in this apartment here?
You can't treat me like this. I don't have any tits.
Yeah. What?
I'm sure Matthew will talk about that, but I got shit to say about that.
Matthew's going to talk about the tits?
Well, probably, right?
It's one of my main subjects of conversation
Yeah,
generally.
Matthew really likes to talk about tits, as far as I know.
God. Well, then my tampon comment earlier is now moot. Anyways, the song is creepy, and I really hope that he hasn't lived with a roommate that hurt him. This song is kind of campy. It is. The monster lyrics are just kind of, well, whatever, but I love the music. And you can kind of tell that they're starting to simmer. They're starting to find their voice.
Yeah.
And you can pick out little nuances in the music where you're like, oh, we're going to hear that again. I like that little trick. It's a birth of this. This music sounds like it's the birth of the band in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I fucking agree to hear that. All right, Matthew, what about you? What do you gotta say about this?
I'd written something very similar. How this is definitely one of my favorites from Mama, and definitely never one that gets skipped. I mean, it is just a genesis of sort of what I love about No Means No. I mean, it's got the humor in it, it's got the creepiness.
It's creepy.
But I mean, right from the beginning, its nose hairs get longer and
I
longer.
love that.
This strange whispered intimacy that Rob's
great.
whispering in your head. It's a really interesting song. I mean, musically, it's incredible. It's just Rob and John. Listening to the drums, I can hear John's learning as a young drummer as well.
Right.
I mean, like, these are this is my rudiment pattern that I'm using on this.
Or like
really,
a fucked up Phil that he realizes, this works with this. You know?
There's a very much a theme of monsters and devils on that album, like right from the album cover.
Yeah.
Red Devil and everything like that, and just
Red
the
Devil's
monster in every person. Of course, his eyes are turning bright green. That's a synonym for jealousy. Is the green-eyed monster.
Yep.
Right.
So it's a very interesting. Don't you fuck nobody else.
Yeah. I like that part. Yeah.
It's just like this the den for some sly basking snake from anyway, from another previous song that we have.
What the hell? What was that from?
Oh yeah.
It's from the Life in Hell.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. My song.
But
That's
this is such an oily little song. It's just greasy and
It is greasy.
yeah, but such a strange situation. I wonder whether how autobiographical it is, like whether Rob felt that he himself was the green-eyed monster, whether he
Never
had experienced some non-sexual jealousy or sexual jealousy on the part of a male roommate. But yeah, I think maybe it's a bit of an invitation to have the listener consider that, what if you were, this is what happens to women all the time.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
what if it happened to you, the male roommate, or, a non-sexual partner with whom you're living starts to assert control, assert territoriality and
dominance
over you and your doings. I mean, how is that going to make you feel? It's
Exactly.
going to suck. It's scary and weird, and all his masks are caving in. Where you associate with somebody on the pretense of sharing the rent, and then it turns into something much darker, weirder, scarier, more dangerous. But yeah, this turnabout, like how would you feel in this situation?
Get the hell out of there. That's what the fuck you do.
No, exactly. I thought it was interesting that we pulled this song with, don't you fuck nobody else, with no fucking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All I hear is pushing grunts. So anyway, yeah, it's a sneaky, weird, creepy song with all of the No Means No instrumentation that we all love, of course. So yeah, I think it is a nucleus. It is like the inchoate No Means No on this song. So yeah, it's one of my favorites from there.
Coming. You can hear it down the road.
And I'm glad you got there, because I think it is. I think this is one of their early stealth feminist masterpieces. I think this is a song that's a real great exploration of how shitty men trap women into abusive relationships, but plays a sly trick in having the protagonist be a man who's totally affronted by this behavior that many, many women just have to fucking live with on a daily basis. But when it's a man who has to put up with it, he's like, hey, you can't treat me like this. I don't fucking have tits, right? Even the protagonist is an asshole by saying like, women should be treated like this, not me. You can't treat me like this. I'm not a fucking woman. So even the protagonist is kind of a fucking douchebag from putting that forward. But everything he talks about is this, the man who just feels like he can fucking leave his shit everywhere, who's just going to sit in the chair, who's going to do fucking nothing, who's going to lock you inside,
eat your peanut butter,
and then finally just tell you, don't you fuck nobody else, right? Like I really feel like this is a flipping that situation that far, far too many women find themselves in, and sets it right in front of you by putting you in the protagonist seat and making you realize how fucking toxic it is when you take it out of the male-female dynamic. Then it's not something it's almost like it's too ordinary for people to talk about abusive relationships. It's not, of course, but as part of our culture, it's like, well, men and women forever. Alice Cramden and Ralph, whatever the fuck his name was.
Norton.
It's just Ed Norton, and and that kind of shit's just bullshit. And I think this is, their band's name is No Means No, and I think that that energy comes through pretty fucking strong in this.
But with, I haven't really sort of thought through all the permutations these days because, to my own failing, I'm glad to be to have the privilege to think about people's trans experiences, people's non-binary experiences, and as a sort of cis hetero white male, you could sort of. It's about toxic masculinity. It's not traditional gender roles necessarily. You could put 100%. Any permutation. It's about power, and it's about this dominance and this stereotype of the dominant sly basking snake, like the pole, the cock, the monster, the green-eyed monster that's going to control. It doesn't matter who it is. It's anybody. That whole paradigm is going to control everybody.
Too. They realize it and they acknowledge it and they know that it's what it is. And
they know
otherwise you just get fucking, Van Halen, you get those guys. But I want to see your tits.
They know how to talk about this kind of shit in ways that don't make them Henry Rollins, right? Like that don't make them someone who's just going to screed about it. They're able to talk about it in a way that is very artful and very entertaining and very goofy in a way, right? Like there's parts of the song that are pretty fucking goofy, as creepy as it is. It's disarming in a certain way, but it's really fucking good. And
I was just, without getting it too dark about it, I mean, it is silly and weird and everything like that, but I was just reading articles recently in the Canadian press about human trafficking and everything like that. And just this relationship of this, like, I just wanted to share the rent. Like, it's a completely innocuous relationship, and then it ends up being completely controlling. Like, you never know what you're getting into until the masks cave in.
Exactly.
So that's the danger of any human relationship.
Yeah, and you can really feel that in the way that it escalates, right? The way the lyrics escalate.
Where did this song come from? Like, did he have a goddamn roommate that was just
I think it's just a larger reflection.
Mental?
I think it's a larger reflection on the toxic masculinity.
That just
they
sounds
probably
like
saw
something
around
he
them.
experienced, though.
I don't know.
Maybe he watched, American Werewolf too much, or whatever the hell that movie was, with the hairs coming out of his nose.
But I haven't even gotten to talk about the fucking music, which I love in this song. The bass playing and drumming in this. There's so many songs on Mama, but this one, I just fucking love it. And the guitar playing too. I think Rob's guitar playing on this is phenomenal. I love it. And I love the way the guitar is sort of off in the distance. It's really kind of reverbed out a bit. And the bass is just, this is, again, the seeds of their future formula. It's sort of right up in your face.
They're getting their sea legs.
And the way that John and Rob are already playing off each other so fucking well. The bass and the drum riffs play so perfectly off each other. And a really great structure again. And the way that the music early on, the way that the music really feeds what the song is saying, the tone of the riffs, the way they play them, and Rob's vocal delivery all along is all at the service of the moment. None of it is extraneous. None of it is not thought out. It all just fucking works.
That's an art to do.
These are super smart motherfuckers. And
the Green-Eyed
really
Monster. Man, I almost get sort of visual hallucinations from the song. Like it's this dark purple and blue place. It's a bruise of a song.
You put this one against
a hematoma of a song.
Play this one. I think it's right up against Red Devil, isn't it? On the track listing.
Maybe Red Devil is the shit.
But
man.
this is what I mean.
These
These two songs together, like the green and the red, right? Like it's just such they really fucking work well together.
Oh, Red Devil is the shit.
Yeah, I love that song. All right, well, I guess that's it, man. We got to vote now. So,
jeez.
First one up to vote for either One Fine Day or My Roommate is Turning into a Monster is Michelle.
Roommate. The roommate from hell. Roommate from hell.
All right, Matthew.
Roommate, definitely. Yep.
It's a sweep. Roommate for me. We got 3 for Roommate. We haven't been unanimous in a while, actually, so that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
No, well,
no,
I don't know.
It's been a little while.
Anyway, someone will correct us. All right, well, we're sending through fucking and the roommate who wants lots of fucking. So they're going through, and unfortunately, Would We Be Alive and One Fine Day, both really, really good songs, are going to have to go to the loser's pen until they get rescued, perhaps by someone's wildcard picks later. We'll see.
Right.
But for the rest of you, thanks for sticking around for this nearly hour-long podcast on these songs. And again, reach out to us on all of the plague forms, Twitter @NoMeansNothing, Instagram, I don't know, that Facebook group.
Snail mail.
Thanks to all of you who continue to reach out. It really is fucking great to hear from you. Really appreciate it. Let us know if there's things you want us to be doing, people you want us to talk to. We're still trying to figure all this out. Sound effects. Yeah. I want more sound effects from Michelle. That's my
No, I make enough of them. Oh my God.
So anyway, we will you guys got any closing words before we sign off?
Don't you fuck nobody else.
That's right. That's right.